Hey everybody, this is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, September the 14th. Hey, we got some weather this week, kind of moving some things around. We're going to talk to the guys and see what they have to say, what the effect's been on the lakes. But we're going to talk to our usual crowd, Tom, Lee, Josh, and Gentry, and find out what you can expect when you hit the water this weekend. Hey, we got Tom Ott with us. We're going to talk a little Guntersville fishing. Tom, I know the rain is coming down this week with the hurricane remnants. I know we've had some cooler weather. Please tell me the bite's starting to move on Guntersville.
Dano, absolutely. It's starting to pick up, at least for the things that I like to do. I do like to fish the grass. And, anybody's been on Guntersville lately, they've seen a lot of spray. They've been spraying all kinds of coves. The water's kind of got a tannic color to it. It's really, really odd. And I found a lot of that I ran into over my last trip out. I just kept jumping around, trying to stay out of it. But it can really play with your head a little bit. And I don't know how much the fish, it really affects the fish, but I know when dying vegetation's out there, it depletes it of oxygen and those fish are going to move on for a while. But the bite is definitely picking up. We just hadn't had a lot of, we haven't had a lot of weather. Everything's been high pressure for a long time. And that's really that puts the press on the fish, and it puts a press on the fishermen to be there at the right time when the fish are actually feeding, because they're definitely going to feed at some point. But it's been a little tougher, but yes, we're getting some cooler water temperatures down into the mid 70s right now. Like I said last week, that little mini max is still doing work. I think it just imitates a small bluegill. I'm throwing it around everything, whether it be deep, shallow, just reeling it out there really slow, and the fish seem to react pretty well to it. But it's still it's not that schooling activity that I'm really looking for. I'd like to see about an acre size of 2-pound bass, but I haven't seen that yet. But there is a little bit of schooling activity. The striper starting to really jump around. I saw a lot of people out brim fishing last week, so maybe that's really turned on some. But the lake is hopefully going to be healthier. We'll see how all this spray activity's got. They're doing a lot of harvesting also, so see how that turns out. Got my fingers crossed anyway.
What about crappie bite? Anything else? Bluegill, is that still going on?
Absolutely. The bluegill, I think the bluegill and the crappie are really starting to make that push. They make that push a little bit earlier than the bass do, but the crappie are starting to come into the creek. So they're coming off the causeways and things like that. You're starting to see people park around the causeways, and that's always a good indicator that fish are biting. But I think that bite at night is probably still best for the crappie. But I don't think it's going to be long. I think we're going to have a real an early season for crappie up here. I think with the way the weather's kind of shaping up, it's looking good.
Well, there you go, folks. We got Tom Ott with a little theme for today. We're going to jump around. Get out your seat and jump around.
Go
fishing, folks. We'll talk to you soon, Tom. Thanks.
We'll catch you next week.
Hey, we got our good friend Lee Pitch joining us here. We're going to talk a little bit of fishing. Folks, I'm hearing there may be some specks starting to move around a bit. Is that what I'm hearing, Lee?
You heard right. They're starting to move a little bit. So that's an exciting time of year for us around here. So they're starting to kind of be seen more. It's one of those deals that they're still out there in the open water. They're getting around some of the deeper docks more in your major creeks and some of the creeks along the river that come out. They're just not getting back in there deep yet. It's just one of those things. They gotta stay out there in that big water. A lot of the brush piles out on the main river, just off the drops in that 12, 13, 14 foot of water, they're starting to see some good fish coming up. And once again, even some of the man-made brush we've been putting out. Here on Weiss, we've got a lot of canes that we put out, a lot of brush tops. Anything that they can hold on that get a little bit of break, and just lay up in it and just wait for the bait to come to them.
I hear you. anytime our good old sockeye, as those Louisiana folks call it, are going, I know you're looking forward to things getting moving. What about the bass at Weiss Lake?
Bass are doing about the same. You know, we're not. Luckily, this week we've had some rain come in, but our water's still low. I think I measured it Wednesday, and here around my house it was 1 foot 8 inches. So that's a lot of water coming off of this shallow lake right here. But you know, the fish, they're getting it off the points. The shaky head worm has been real good. Texas rig, and just kind of slowing it down. You know, this time of year, bass fishermen, you get to test yourself and see if you really love fishing or not, because it's a slow deal. You got to slow down and just kind of, the fish are there. They're getting there. All that brush around these docks, any kind of shade that they've got, and these long, hard bottom points has got some fish out there on them.
All right, let's turn to Neely Henry. We got about 45 seconds left. Tell me what's going on the river.
Neely, about the same. You know, what you're looking for right now, it's low also. We finally got some rain this week, but it's just going to take a little bit for the water to get up and the fish to kind of establish back in that shallow water. You're looking at coming off that river, any kind of lay down that you've got. Some of your deeper boat docks down Main Lake, Lower Lake have got fish on it too. Anything with some structure on it, you're looking for brush. And it's one of those deals. It's not a slugfest. It's just a slow down, downsize your line a little bit. You know, like I said, when I've got a spinning rod in my hand, it's not what I want to be doing. But I think right now, downsizing the line, lighten up your weight, throw a smaller bait. You know, a little speed crawl's been good. But that 6-inch worm, shaky head, and Texas rig seems to be what the fish are wanting right now.
Lee, as always, brother, we appreciate everything, and we will talk to you again. Hey, we got Gentry Gordy taking a little break from his ambulance duties down there, and we're going to find out what's going on Lake Martin and Jordan Lake. What's going on, Gentry? Your pick today. Where do you want to start?
Let's start at Jordan. I know it seems to be a little better than Martin. So I was up there, and you know, it's fall fishing. It's tough. But to me, it's like junk fishing. So I caught them offshore on brim beds. I caught them flipping docks, but nothing on a moving bait, which was kind of odd given the amount of shad. They come up schooling, but before you could get, reach down and get your top water plug and throw it over there, they were gone, and it wasn't coming back to it. But it's tiny, tiny bait, and it's everywhere. Yeah, to me, it makes it tough because there's so much bait fish. They ain't studying nothing you're throwing.
Right. Yeah, sometimes even during the shad spawn, if you got too much going on in one place, it may be best to go someplace where it's not quite so active.
Yes.
You mentioned brim beds. Are you seeing any activity of bluegill fishermen, crappie fishermen? Are you seeing any of that stuff out there?
I saw the crappie fishermen out there. I'm assuming, on that offshore, the slight drops, probably sitting on some trash piles. And like I said, I think the brim were there. But still, even, I've seen it from Lake Eufaula, even Mark Jordan. When you find a big school of brim beds like that, the brim don't necessarily have to be there sometimes. Those fish will just set on them and use it as ambush points, I think.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, let's go to Martin. I know it's still warm out there. We've got all this weather that's come through. Is it still a night bite, or is it starting to shift a little bit into the daytime?
Well, yeah, no, the night bite's there, but it is starting to shift. I mean, we've been so long without a good rain, and now that we've got it, you'll start getting Martin's tough to get muddy, but with it being down like 3 feet, you'll start to get that mud line around the bank, and that'll kind of help, just running the banks, doing the shallow thing. You definitely keep your top water plug in hand. They're a little bit easier to catch on top water than, say, like Jordan. Yeah, just different type of spot. So it's either your tiny baits using your forward-facing sonar or a big walking bait. So when they do come up, you can eventually hit Mark. You can get them to come back up.
Gentry, we appreciate everything. We know you're a busy man. We know you're taking care of the public and trying to keep people alive, man. We appreciate everything. Thanks for the time. We'll talk to you again soon, brother. Hey, we got our man Josh Herron here. He's in his bait laboratory making that Tato Designs work go. Josh, I know you've been spending a little bit of time getting ready for some tournaments going on. What's going on at Logan Martin right now?
Man, with this weather we got pushing in this week, hopefully it's going to get a little bit better. Maybe add a little color to the water, increase a little bit of flow. I know it's supposed to be bumpy, but hopefully we're going to start making that turn. Water temps are definitely falling a little bit. These cooler nights are definitely helping. So hopefully we're going to start getting some fish that are going to start pushing really shallow, and some of these fish are going to start migrating into creeks. There's a lot of little bait in the river still, but it seems like some of the gizzards and stuff like that are showing up farther back in some of these creeks, which is always fun. They seem to be a more prolific appetizer for some larger specimens.
Yeah,
So,
you're there.
we're gonna get on that spinnerbait deal, buzzbait deal. Chatterbait's fixed to start firing really good, like it does in the fall. So that's kind of what I'm looking for over the next week or so, is seeing some of those patterns start showing up.
So you're the glide bait guy in our area. Are you seeing that beginning to work with those gizzard chads moving?
Yeah, definitely, and it's working farther up the lakes. I caught some at Neely with this weekend, or this past weekend on it at Neely. I know there's a lot of fish getting caught on glide on the upper end of the lake right now. So it's primarily spotted bass right now, in the largemouth of fall suit.
Yep. They seem to be the last ones to go anyway. All right, let's talk Lay Lake a little bit. I know the guys are getting ready for that ABT championship that's going to be there, that 2-day championship. What are you thinking Lay Lake's going to be doing?
Man, I think it's still going to be definitely a mixed bag. I'm not sure you can hold out for largemouth for 2 days straight. Not consistently anyway. So I'm looking for that 16 to 18 pound range, but I think it'll be a mixed bag still. You still got a lot of fish that are going to be out deeper at lake. Especially like your live scope guys, stuff like that. They're going to be showing out. Brush is still going to be a big thing. And this is the time of year where you get little windows through the day where the largemouth start playing better and better and better. And I still don't think a spotted bass bites any better in the day than he does at daylight. So it's kind of a double-sided coin whether you go chase largemouth at daylight or whether you go chase spotted bass. But your gray light hours are still gonna be your best.
I gotcha. Well, Josh, Bradley, I appreciate everything. Thanks for the tips, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, I wanted to say a quick thank you to Len Johnson for the event he put on last week. I wish more guys would have showed up. We definitely need to start supporting guys who are trying to help out.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I think it's got to start somewhere. I know it wasn't what everybody would have wanted to see, but it did raise some money, and we'll continue on that process, won't we?
Yes, sir.
Well, that'll wrap up our Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, September the 14th. Hey, don't forget to come on by Bucks Island. We got the tackle, the parts, the boats, and the service that you need to get on the water, stay on the water. You might even want to come by and check out a few pontoon boats, because you know what? Boating season lasts a little bit longer in Alabama. Might be fun time for your family. Folks, we look forward to seeing you every time you walk in the door. You are the best part of Bucks Island, and we appreciate you.